What happened in the world of crypto this week? Well, here to talk with me about that is Doug Kyle and Brendan Duff, both from digiBot. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. So, Doug, let's get to it. What happened in the world that caught your eye?
You know, it is over the last week, what's really our last 2 weeks, actually, we've been in this really downtrend in the market. And anytime I'm in that downtrend, Bob, I always wonder, what are the bigger traders, what are the bigger players really doing behind the scenes? And that's one of the things that we actually track in digiBot. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick, and I'm going to show you how we actually see that. And this is a view that a lot of people don't get to see, Bob, because all they see is the market going down, right? And what you're looking at here, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to show you these dots here that you're seeing on my screen. This is what the normal market looks like to everybody. And they see these downtrends and people get fearful, right? Anytime things like the China bank news announcements, things from the SEC come out, it causes instability or fear in the market, but it creates opportunity for accumulation in these coins that have a limited supply, like Bitcoin, that has a limited supply. So we talk about what are the bigger players doing in the space during that time. What you're going to see here, I'm going to turn on this blue dot here, and you're going to see it pop up here where I'm tracking the top 1% of all the traders. The smallest little blue dots here are the top 1%. The bigger the dot is, the larger the factor of that buyer. So we're talking about huge buyers. So when we look at a market that's declining, what are the big players doing? What's going on behind the scene that the average player doesn't see? And this is what we look at. This is what's important to us, because we can still see that the major players still see the viability in the market, even though guys like Elon Musk or others may be talking negative about the market, or there may be a fear because of what's going on in the fundamentals or the news. But really what's going on behind the scenes is a major opportunity for major players to accumulate or suck up tokens. In this case, Bitcoin is what we're looking at. So they're accumulating Bitcoin in these down markets. And that's always what we're looking at in terms of digiBot or any trades that we're doing, is really what's going on behind the scenes and what are the major players doing, Bob?
Right. Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying in the market, and I don't even know who to credit to anymore because I've heard it repeated so many times, but price advertises and volume confirms, right? So with all the chatter, right, the only thing that's real is price and volume, right? So what are people doing? Also, we know we have some larger players opining, right? And this is an unregulated market, and I'm not going to speculate as to whether they benefit from that or not, but they have big wallets, right? They can withstand bigger drawdowns, bigger pullbacks, and they can also add more money, right, when the market comes back. Robert Kiyosaki, whether you like him, don't like him, he's a big Bitcoin proponent, and he was waiting and wanting it to go to 24,000, right? We hit 29, I think, or something like that this week. So I don't know, was somebody like that going to add? Probably. Do we like it when it goes? We actually like it. We teach a little differently because we understand, we have different understanding and different perspective. But when the markets pull back, when all this bad, this bad press comes out, it's on sale for us because we believe in the longevity, we believe in the technology, we believe in where it's going. Are we going to be 100% right? No. Do we care? No. We just have to know how to respond regardless of what it does. Mm-hmm. So I think the average retail trader gets spooked by the news, but seasoned traders aren't, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's a response or a reaction. And then, if Elon Musk comes out next week and falls in love with Bitcoin again, now we're going to see it spike, right? It's an unregulated market. It's going to go up. And as far as we know, they still own a lot of it at Tesla. So, we're not worried about the day-to-day or week-to-week news. And as we, briefly talked about before, we have a lot of people coming out taking sides. We have governments taking sides. We have big industrial folks taking sides, banks taking sides. Some are pro crypto, some are not. We just have to know on our end, what we focus on the digiBot is how do we trade it, irregardless of what they do.
Right. Actually, this is a good moment for you to tell us about digiBot for the folks who may not be familiar with what you do.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so digiBot is a AI automated trading system for the crypto market right now. Ultimately, it'll go into other markets. We started developing it a little over 4 years ago, did 2 years of beta testing. Last year, we did about 178,000 winning trades with digiBot because it's all based on accumulation and volume. And we believe in the asset set itself. And so what does that mean? Brendan and I both traded Forex and a lot of other markets that are heavily leveraged, 400 to 1, 500 to 1. You can't trade it as an asset owned when you're trading 500 to 1. You'll get margined out, you have margin calls, you have all kinds of stuff. For the average trader or the new trader, and it's crazy to say it this way, Bob, because everybody looks at the crypto market as this wild, wild west, right? But in a lot of ways, it's a much safer asset for new people or anybody because you own the asset. It's a one-to-one leverage, at least the way we trade. It's one-to-one leverage. So through proper money management, we have a very advanced cost averaging system that is unique and proprietary to digiBot. We have a long-term hold money management also because we believe in the asset. And so consequently, yeah, we may get what we call heavy or weighted in an asset sometimes when the market's dropping, but we just saw all the major players accumulating in that because they still believe in the asset. So they know that if they accumulate on the way down, they're getting it at a discounted price. We do too. We believe that. And consequently, if we do cost averaging or money management correctly, when the market begins to turn, we begin to cash out for profitable trades. So Digi is a highly profitable system simply because we understand the market and we have trader backgrounds, and that's where we come from.
Right. And so for the average investor, easy enough to open an account or with digiBot?
Yeah, it's very, very easy to open an account. Go to digibot.com and you can open up an account. In fact, we could provide a link if you want to your people so that they can, so we can help them and maybe give a discount to them for being part of your show if you want to do that. But yeah, it's very easy. I think the hardest part for everybody getting involved in the crypto space is buying your first Bitcoin. It's getting from your bank account at Wells Fargo or wherever you're at to the crypto market. Once they get past that, digiBot itself takes about less than 5 minutes to completely set up. We have over 100 algorithms that we've developed that trade based on volume. And yeah, to us, it's the right way to trade.
Right. And I take it you have charts, you showed Bitcoin, but I'm sure you're tracking ETH and other tokens as well in terms of price and supply.
Exactly. Every coin that we do, we track volume, we track time and sales, we track the order book, we track the size of the trades going through, the volume. We actually track the acceleration of the market. A lot of things that maybe advanced traders, when you look at BSA or volume spread analysis and those kind of things, we do all of that. But we do it with a twist. It's based on our background, our experiences to take those elements and apply them to this market correctly. And it works. It makes a big difference. We're also developing a brand new system to trade what is called the DeFi market, which is kind of the new market coming out with reflection and all the new bells and whistles. But we're going to have a very advanced system for that doesn't exist in that market yet at all. So looking forward to that too.
So just a tangent question of sorts. In the world of financial advisors, there's been a growing trend among them to add, albeit slowly and in little amounts, cryptocurrency to their clients' portfolios. But one of the things that they're grappling with is what kind of correlation the crypto might have to stocks, bonds, and other assets that might be in a client's portfolio. Have you done any investigation or research around that?
You want me to take that one, Doug?
Yeah, I'll let you start with it and then I'll jump into.
So if you look hard enough, you can find correlation. And if you keep looking, you'll find it not correlated. So if any of them figure it out, have them send us what they find. Now, I mean, it changes, right? Because arguably, right, Bitcoin, like for the longest time, crypto was not correlated at all. And then we started to see at times Bitcoin would respond more similar to the traditional markets, but it diverges at times too if you have a news event. So correlation is, we've always found it's sort of a slippery slope to trade. It's fun to analyze after, but it's really not, in our experience, it's not as useful for a predictive model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just like we were talking before we got started here, Bob, about Taleb, right? And Taleb is one of my favorite authors, and he talks about people being able to see patterns, and the more you believe in your patterns, the more you get sucked down that path, right? But what we know is true, and there's nothing more true than that when somebody takes money out of their wallet, puts it on the table, and is willing to take a trade at a volume. And the bigger that wallet is, the more money, the more it affects the market, and that's what's true.
Right. So there's also been growing interest in crypto as a potential inflation hedge instead of gold. Any thoughts about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I think Michael Saylor is really leading that charge, right? And I love that. I love his vision of it because, and I don't think Bitcoin's going to be the only play in this market. And I think and I've talked about this from the beginning of the year, I think there's going to be players we don't even know yet. We just launched a coin called True Badger, having tremendous success in it. But there'll be players that come out over this year that we don't know yet that will also lead that way, I believe. I believe 2021 and 2022 can be really foundational years for a lot of people to make some serious income in this marketplace, because it's still, even though we've been around, we have some proof of market now. I don't think we really haven't taken off yet in terms of Bitcoin's prediction to go to $1 million. Citibank predicted to go to 120,000 this year. We began to see us move that way when we hit the 60,000, right? And we took that breath, which we needed. We took the breath in the market, pulled back, allowed a lot of people to get back in the market. But the thing that I find so funny, everybody, when we were at 60,000, we're going, oh my goodness, I just wish it would come back down into the 20,000 so I could get in, right? And then when it did, everybody was so freaked out and so fearful, they forgot to pull the trigger, right? So, you got to have a plan, and you got to believe in where the market's going, and that helps, people get involved in this space. But this space is still new. It's still wide open, and there's huge opportunities. And you talk about the financial advisors, and I understand their fear, because this feels like the wild, wild west. But the key to it for them is it's an asset you own. And it's an asset just like your house or I liken it onto my house, right? There's times that my house goes below what I paid for it. There's times that it goes above what I paid for it. The question is what do I want to do when it does those two things? Do I want to sell it when it's below, or do I want to sell it when it's above? And being an asset that we own, if we truly believe in the asset, we do our due diligence in quantum, Litecoin, Ethereum, any other coin that we're really looking at. If the underlying utility is valuable, then the coin's valuable.
Well, and I would add one other thing, right? I know a lot of financial advisors, and I saw some banks starting to offer crypto options, but a lot of them, they're offering like an ETF, right? And I don't have a problem with ETFs. There's a lot of value to them, but they often are going to take a very conservative approach. So ETF is going to be spread out across probably multiple cryptos, and people, it's another similar product to what they offer, right? I think the biggest opportunity, and in our belief, as long as you avoid leverage, right? So you trade 1-to-1, the biggest opportunity and the lowest risk is to actually own the coins, right? To buy the cryptocurrency, to trade it, and not do it in an ETF, not do it in a fund, because you're not going to see the returns, right? You could buy, if you buy Bitcoin by itself, if it ever doubles, which, I think the probability is that it will double from where it is now, right? You're not going to get that in an ETF unless it's just Bitcoin, right? You're going to get, it's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, it's, whatever, 12 other coins, whatever they're doing. And you're just, you're going to get that, maybe conservative, maybe measured approach, and you're not going to get the value of where we are. This market, I want to say it's somewhere between crawling and walking, right? And the good part about that is there's a race to deliver value. So what I mean by that is, we remember the .com era, right? When all the, if you had a .com name, you had a company, and you could do an IPO, and you're gonna, it's gonna take off, and then the dust settles, and now it's like, do any of these companies offer value? Well, I think we're starting going to that stage where, do any of these coins, any of these projects offer value? And the people that do that, bring value and bring the best value and compete on that, we're going to start to see emerge, right? Like I think we still need to see a shakeout on which coin's going to deliver the cheapest, fastest transaction to, if I want to send you money and it's a coin, and vice versa, it's got to be cheap, it's got to be quick, it's got to be secure, right? There's still a race to who's going to do that best.
Yeah. So a lot of folks often compare the transaction speed to what happens in the world of credit cards. Do you see a future where those transaction speeds will be just as fast?
If they want to, whoever wants to emerge as a leader needs to figure that out. I think that's
right.
The right question. And then whoever answers that best, there are coins and projects that are getting close, right? But I still haven't seen a leader emerge like that. But I do. Yeah, I think it's coming. It's definitely possible. It's just a matter of who does it, right? And I want to own the one that does before they do it, right? I mean, that's the goal, right? So I'm not going to try and pick it. I'm going to figure out who the players are in that game, and I'm going to try and position myself across that playing field.
Yeah, we got to do speed and microtransactions. We got to get down to where, we can really do what this is designed to do, fractions of pennies. And if we can get to that speed and microtransactions, then this does take on a whole new worldview in terms of what it becomes. And like Brendan says, we are getting closer to that. And I believe we will achieve that. I still think there's a struggle between, the original school mind, the miners, and everything that was going on there, to where we need to go in the future for that micro transaction fees. And so there's still some shakeout that will take place there for sure.
Right. So last week we talked to Peter Gantner. You have on your background the True Badger logo. Can you give us an update on the launch and where it stands now?
Yeah, I got chills when you asked me. We had a launch, and I don't know what Peter covered with you in the launch. We launched on a day, and we got attacked by a bot. There's a bot in these spaces, and I'm sure he talked about that. We pulled back, we recovered, we came out with our own pre-launch exchange where we white labeled everybody, had a super successful launch, had a nice, nice up. And today we broke our all-time high. I got on this morning when I looked at BNB, and so True Badger's tied to BNB in the liquidity pool. So, BNB had a drawdown this week. We had a little drawdown, first drawdown in True Badger. We hit a base in BNB. So with my trading background, I was showing the base in BNB, talking to everybody. So we got a nice solid, we see volume coming in on BNB. If you were going to add to your True Badger, maybe a good time to do that. And a lot of people did. And so today we got on this morning, we're right up against that barrier, but volume is still coming in. And I said, hey guys, I think we're going to make a new high today. And we did. And so, yeah, we're doing really good. We've got some social media guys that came on this week that said, and these are guys that are big in the crypto space, and I can't give out names yet, but they're big in the space, and they promote coins, right? And there's groups of them. And one of the guys came on and said, "Hey, we've been watching what you're doing. We've never seen a chart like yours in this space." And we're very, he says, "I'm very excited about it." And he usually charges a lot of money to promote your coin and all that kind of good stuff, right? But we said, "Okay, well, how much?" And he says, "No, you don't get it. I'm interested in buying your coin. You guys are different than anything I've seen." So, and we have some utilities that we're already developing in this space that I'm working on the trader side that just don't exist. So yeah, super great.
That's the race to value that we're talking about, right? Especially in this DeFi space, right? We're talking, it's like kind of the equivalent to the old penny stocks, right? And some of them emerge, right? And they're no longer penny stocks because they delivered value, right? And I think that's what we're seeing here too, right? We have projects that we're actually delivering on, right? We're actually going to deliver, and there are a lot of companies out there that are talking about their projects, and they might deliver, right? And we want this market to rise, right? We want everybody to succeed to the best they can. We want them to deliver value. So it's not like we're better than they are, but it's more of we have to deliver value, and they do too. If whoever wants to stick around, you have to deliver value, and we have to bring our projects to the market, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Do you mind if I turn our attention to some of the news that caught my attention this week?
Sure.
So earlier this week, the People's Bank of China said it summoned representatives of multiple institutions and told them to strictly implement recent notices and guidelines from authorities on curbing risks tied to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency fundraising activities. And it was the latest sign that Beijing is intensifying its crackdown on unregulated virtual currencies. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think both Brendan and I can jump in on this because, we started we started Forex 20 years ago. And there was always things in the SEC or things around the world that we're talking about cracking down and stuff. The question is really, when you look at what the space has done already and to me, it's like the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, right? They can try to crack down. They can do rumors of cracking down. And I always ask myself, when you talk about China or you talk about any of the governments getting involved, what's going on behind the scenes in terms of the centralized currencies that they want to bring out and what do they want to do? Now, we're decentralized, as you know, and they will absolutely be centralized currencies, I believe, that will come out. So I think there's still a political game going on for sure. And they're always trying to create that instability in the market and the fear in the market is the way that I look at it. Now, Brendan may have a different view on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing with a lot of governments, right? Once again, they're taking sides, and I think it has to do largely with control, right? China love the people, don't love the government model too much, right? It's a very controlling model, and I don't think they're empowering to their people. And, but we're seeing, it's not just them, right? We're seeing other governments, right? The Eurozone, my understanding is they already have a digital coin in the works, right? For the Euro. Mm-hmm. My understanding is there's lots of rumors and talks of a Fed coin, right? Everybody is jockeying for control, right? I believe most the governments, what they don't like about crypto largely is it's uncontrolled, right? They don't have any control over it. They, I can, like we talked about, even though it's not super fast, I can send anybody around the world who has access to the internet crypto, right? They don't like that. That's very hard to track. It's very hard to do what they do, and that's oversee and control. Yes, there is some opportunities to protect the little guy, right? We know with all new markets, people are exposed to scams and all that, but we saw this with Forex, with the farm bill, they changed all the rules and who you can do business with, who you can't, what broker you can use, where you can't. And almost always, right? It almost always doesn't really help the little guy. I remember I was day trading stocks and they came out with the rule. Now you have to have a $25,000 account to take day trades. Well, what does that do? That basically takes the guy with 15,000 and takes away some of his opportunity, right? Do people still make money and lose money in the stock market? Yes. Now I have to, if I'm a little guy, I got to go to a broker. So I think it's a battle for, for control. I think Doug's right. The barn door has been already left open. I don't think they can contain it. I do think they're all going to fight to regulate it. We have some countries stepping up, and they're going to become, the domicile for crypto because they're so friendly to it, right? I think it was a week ago or so, or was it Argentina? One of the countries, right? They want it to be, as equivalent to a base currency, right? So we're going to see a lot of that. There's going to be shakeout. There's going to be regulation. We know it, right? Each country is going to do a little bit different. And I think for the average guy looking at crypto right now, I think we have to just, make hay when the sun shines and be ready to adapt as that regulation comes. And that's, we're already ahead of the curve on our end to do that. And we can help people do that with digiBot for sure.
Yeah. So speaking of regulation, we're expecting a rule from the SEC. I don't know when, but most recently, the former director of the SEC's Division of Examinations said that the rule would focus on 4 principal areas: issuance, trading, clearance and settlement, and custody. Any thoughts about whether those are the right principal areas, and if so, comment on them?
I mean, it's the old playbook, right? I mean, that's the only playbook they have. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not, yes, I do, and we'll see that with XRP, right? That's the big, that's going to be one of the big teetering points, right? And I think the courts know it. I think the SEC knows it, right? If they get off, right? If they are able to walk away from this basically unscathed, that opens up the market, right? I guess the question is, are they going to get a slap on the wrist? Are they going to get fined? Are they going to get shut down? That also has impacts too. I think we have to watch the XRP case to really see, and speculate. I don't know what they're going to do about custody, right? What are they going to do about custody when I can send you currency around the world? How are they going to control that? I can trade it on a DeFi. I don't get that. I don't know how they're going to do it. Like it's almost like an impossible task, right? So, maybe that's, maybe they need to adjust the playbook a little bit to be a little bit more flexible. But yeah, I think it's an old playbook. I don't know how far they're going to get with it. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree with Brendan on the custody. How do you lock that down? And I think they come out with things like this. And again, the people that are uneducated in the space creates fear, right? And so some people back off because they go, oh no, but in reality, this space is it's already moving. And we look at Switzerland, what they're doing with XRP and different things. I just don't see how you rein that back in.
Anything that we haven't touched upon that you'd like to mention, or anything that you've already mentioned that you want to sort of reemphasize?
Yeah, I think for everybody that's standing on the sidelines, we've here we are. Most of us have gone through multiple things, whether it's .com or whatever it is, right? And some of us stood on the sidelines during those times, and we look back and we go, okay, we missed opportunities, we missed things that could have changed our lives. I believe, and I think Michael Saylor and some of the others are absolutely correct. I believe that we are in a huge financial shift in the world, whether we're looking at guys at the top, where Amazon did with COVID and the gains they made, which were massive, okay? Or we're looking at the smaller guys like us in the crypto space using accumulation to accumulate an asset that has what I call an X factor growth, many times greater than anything we've ever seen in our lives. And especially on the new DeFis. Yeah, they're higher risk and there's lots of risk with those. But for $50 or $100, when people can look at having what I call the Bitcoin experience, if I had a time machine, Bob, I'd go back to the day I could have bought Bitcoin for 4 cents, right? Well, in some ways I have that. If I do my research with some of the new emerging coins, some of the things going on, yes, it's just as risky as Bitcoin was back then, but it has that same X factor growth, like Two Bradley. We've had a mini X factor growth just in 2 weeks. Other coins will do that. We will continue to do that, and hopefully way beyond, right? So this is a time where people need to, I think, wake up and say, is this opportunity right for me? Have I done my due diligence to understand it? and then decide if they need to get in. But boy, I think it's one of the greatest opportunities of our lifetimes.
Right.
I'm gonna repeat another saying that I've heard a bunch of times, and Doug's heard me say it, but it's the opportunity of a lifetime as long as you take advantage of it during the lifetime of the opportunity, right?
Mhm.
That's where we're at with this. And what I love the most, and this is, we built digiBot for this, right? I love that it doesn't matter if you have $100, $1,000, it doesn't matter, $100,000. This market has an opportunity for you. Yes, you have to get educated. You have to get synced up. I mean, one thing we do with digiBot, we have real support with actually real humans, which you don't see a lot in the digital world here. But we do that because we know people are scared. It's real money for them, and it's this is the opportunity for somebody with little or with lots. And yeah, I mean, if somebody is inclined or looking for an opportunity, you're going to be hard pressed, I think, to find one in a while where we can get involved with such low risk as far as the amount of capital you need to bring to it. And that's, I mean, that's just super exciting it's super exciting that we're able to bring a solution in this market for people. It's exciting that they can do it, right? We have, we have people with True Badger, right? They're single moms. They're just whatever. This first time they ever heard of crypto, and we're helping them get going. We're helping them buy their first crypto. They're excited. They see an opportunity, and that's that's what it's about. It's still about people, but leveraging the digital opportunity we have with the blockchain, which is just once again, I think it's at the crawling stage. I think the future for the blockchain itself is huge, and we're on the ground floor. So
yeah, first inning of a 9-inning game.
you got it. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Well, Doug, Brendan, I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom about this topic on This Week in Crypto. It's been a really fascinating discussion, and I hope people sort of, if they're not familiar with crypto, that they get a chance to experience what it's like through digiBot.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.